Hello again.
Hello.
Hello.
Should we set up here or?
Hi everybody, good evening, how are you? I haven't met you, I'm Demetra,
Hi,
I'm
Demetra.
the wife.
The wife.
Nice to see you all.
See you.
I could sit?
Of course.
Of course. What are your names?
Bob.
Bob, how are you? Travis?
Joe.
Hi Joe, I used to have the little name tags. Steve, nice to meet you, Demetra again. And I'm a busy.
Hi, everyone. Nick Faustini. I'm the architect for the application. So we met last month and discussed some changes. So we had discussed elevation changes to the front facade in terms of reducing the garage height, potentially reducing the additions on the roof in terms of their height, and some material changes and window opening changes as well. So I'm just gonna flip to the elevations and we can look at it together.
Is this a new one, David?
Yes.
That's the
Really?
Oh, no, you won't lost
Yeah,
it.
we don't- yeah, thank you.
So what we did is we lowered the garage, the terrace, above the garage by 2 feet. We also lowered the addition roofs on each side by 1 foot, by lowering the top weights at each side of the addition. We added a small shed roof to the front of the garage with buttresses on each side. We've also changed the material around the garage to siding to match the rest of the house. There was a lot of conversation about the original windows of the house being too short, so we tried to provide the appearance of them being longer without changing the windows. So what we did is we introduced relief panels under the windows to try to convey a taller window. We also added shutters on the main facade to just try to embellish it a little bit more, and we also introduced an oval window over the front entrance. The relief panels are at the top windows, which were perceived as being too short in the original house. With the relief panel, they match the lower windows in terms of height. And we also adjusted the window sizes in the master bedroom as well.
So is this a panel or is this a full window?
That's a true window. So there are 3 windows there. The relief panels are on the original existing windows. And in terms of reference, if you're not familiar with relief panels, we just got like some sample images. Like, it's just basically a white panel under the window
I like it.
to try to
It's
extend the
pretty,
appearance.
right? The way it looks now with all your ideas, because you're you're experts too. You gave good ideas.
We appreciate you guys' flexibility and we hope it business. I think the roof lines are tremendous.
Isn't it nice looking?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I think dropping the garage by that 2 foot, I think that probably solved several problems. And now it's probably not ideal to have to go down steps.
No, but still looks
Going out the
nice.
windows.
That was your idea, Mr. Travis?
No, not,
Very
I think,
nice.
well,
Very
I think we've all had problems with the scale of, and it was due to the fact that you wanted to get that straight flush walk out from the suite upstairs, but I think that actually bringing it down helps it out a bunch, and then that little eyebrow canopy.
I don't think it's a problem though, right? The little steps to go down, that's not a problem at all. Big deal, right? You still have the nice balcony, it looks nice on the facade, right?
Yeah, I think it's definitely an improvement from the first one. Like the relief panels definitely helped, but those windows were pretty short.
It significantly changes
The look,
the
right?
perceived scale as well, with the original house. It's pretty striking, actually.
Right.
It's,
Oh, no, I think the
Um,
cascading grouting
yeah.
of roofs does a lot to break up this giant mass, and having brick here and then siding on the sides also makes it prominent, and one of the few times I like shutters, you know, they're proportional and they make this look special and make this look like you know, instead of just one piece of.
It's great for us too, because we took your ideas at the beginning, I'm an engineer too, so if I don't see it in front of me, just to imagine it, it's, it doesn't help that much, but when we put this, on the drawing, you can tell right away that
yeah,
the changes are actually make sense.
And is this decorative, kind of roof piece here, yeah?
Yes.
Decorative roof.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
little eyebrow.
Which one is the eyebrow?
Right here, this one.
Yes, yes.
Across the-
It,
I mean, it
Bring the
kind of was
scale
like
down.
like a firehouse before, you have big boxy, sliding doors.
That's why your
There's
ideas
more
were-
residential scale.
and you see these things all the time. You go through so many every year.
Yeah, we see lots of variety.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You liked it too? It looks
I think
nice
it's
to you?
good. Is the existing brick that's painted, or is painted white,
Is that okay?
We have this part with bricks, the previous version, but we changed it.
and then the new stone on the garage will match the,
Yes.
It would be the same, correct? It's like the same line.
yeah, if I'm familiar with it, I drive by it every day, so.
Oh, yeah? Do you like it, the way it looks now?
I think this is an improvement, I think, definitely helps proportions. But it's setback, it's gonna look nice.
We needed the 2-car garage with all the snow and the weather. That's really what prompted us, to do this, to be practical.
That's a big ambitious project.
You think?
I think it's
It
nice.
is.
So, I thank you very much for, listening to us and taking a fresh look at a lot of these things. And I think it's a much bigger improvement for you, not for us.
Of course, this is to make it look better, nicer, more presentable. Like Mr. DeGiorgio says, he passes by, he sees the real house, what it looks like now, so you can envision it better, what it'll look like, when it's done. We have to invite you all over when it's finished for a Greek barbecue.
It'd be nice if we allowed to do
That's
that.
what you need, I think. No, really, what's the point of doing all this if you don't enjoy it in life, right? The point is you do a celebration, you invite your community.
Very nice, thank
You have my word, my Greek barbecue.
Okay, we will be here.
Thank you.
Thank you
It
very
looks
much.
good, looks really good.
What do we do now?
Started.
You're approved. Now it's
Approved
gonna
by all
go,
of us.
it's gonna go to the building inspector to review any items that are missing in your favor review letter.
Guys, thank you
Thank
very
you very
much for
much.
your help, for improving and making it better too with our architect. Thank you,
You're welcome. Lots of luck.
thank you.
Thank you, have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Daisy. Take care.
Joanne, you too.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
So if that new rule went into effect, it wouldn't be as nice. Actually, it's very nice to see people, not just because they go out and listen to us and take a fresh look.
Next one is a sign for a cat grooming in town.
That's so good.
It's Memorial Drive, Bedford Road.
Next to
Quaker Hill, across from
the lower half of like
Survey company.
Yes,
Yeah.
Campbell.
Campbell, they still there?
No.
Sure.
What's your name?
Cindy,
Cindy what?
Tang, T-A-N-G.
Are be with the store or with the sign company?
The store owner.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Is this sign is this existing, is this a sign window?
The white one is not, that's the render. Though the top ones are, it's a nail salon up top.
Right, no, so it looks like neon inside the glass, is that there, is that?
No, those are LED signs on the window.
That's not there now, though.
The cat grooming sign, yeah, it's not there right now. That's the render.
Okay,
Just a rendering.
so you're looking for two signs, you're looking to do these letters inside like on the rendering and also the board at the top?
Yes, so there's a total of 3 signs, the aluminum up top, and then the 2 window signs are 2 separate signs, one on each window.
Sorry.
And are these illuminated, it's not neon, is it like the tubes like used to be called neon lights?
I double checked, cause I know Steve said neon lights
I
are
thought you
not
couldn't
allowed.
do that.
Yeah, and I verified with the sign company and they said it's LED lights, not neon.
But it's the same look. It's the same look of like a tube that spells out the words.
Right, well, that's kind of the only option to have an illuminated sign that gives off light, I guess, in the window. You know, they did double check that it was not neon material.
Is it on the back or are these like, is this outline here, the signs look like 2 solid pieces that have the lettering on top of it?
Yes. Yes, it's an acrylic backer and then it's going to be hung by steel cables off the ceiling. There's no space for the store to display any kind of illuminated sign overhead, so that was kind of my only option.
Are those allowed if they kind of look like a neon, but they're not a neon, is that allowed?
The town, the code, sign code specifically says neon, doesn't say anything about the style or the shape of it. So as long as it's not,
If we call something else that we don't like, a different name, we can use it.
as long as it's not, because there's a few signs in town that look like that, but they're LED.
Yeah, the sign code needs to be. Okay,
Is there a
so-
sign there existing, like currently? The one that's above the glass?
That's not a neon, I think they're just vinyl,
Right, that's surface mounted, but is there a sign currently there?
it's just in the
Previous
window.
tenant?
Oh, from the previous tenant, no, so it was a kid's haircut salon previously, and they had just like stickers all over the window. They didn't have any signs. They actually moved down the street. I had it in my last picture, they actually moved the unit down there, which is like half the size of the unit I'm taking over, because they were downsizing. But yeah, the previous tenant only had stickers on the window.
Like the nail plates on top of them, is that allowed? It's like tape
Do
to
you
the
need
window.
both of those signs? Do you need the ones in the glass and the one on the,
Yeah, I don't even know if that was.
The one up here is not really visible, that's the only problem, and there's no,
I don't know if that even came to us.
How do we enforce that? You guys are 2 guys, you can't really do it.
but yeah, I mean, the window sign's the only way I can actually have it where
Yeah.
it's seen, especially in the winter time when it's dark and nobody's able to see anything in the afternoon.
My one question, like, a lot of these signs that we see, it's kind of the edge is not really finished. So when it says like, I think it says like it's a frame, it'd be more like a picture frame that's got a nice finished edge?
Yeah, so the aluminum sign, from my understanding, is like an enclosed, yes, to answer your question, it would be finished for the one, especially since this is an exterior sign, so it needs to hold up to, you know, the weather and all that, and it's going to be mounted flush against the exterior building wall above the windows.
what material is it? It says, aluminum pan with protective overlap laminate. What are the letters? The letters just painted or they stuck on? What are the letters mean?
No, they would be, I believe, my understanding is they're kind of like inside the protective layer, I guess. I think they're printed somehow. I'm not sure the exact technicalities of how the sign is made. I've just seen like a picture of their aluminum sign and it's, you know, made for exterior use and it's got the protective, I guess, finish over it.
This is another one, right? I want to be difficult, you're a small business, we want you to be successful and all that, but there's a lot of information lacking in this drawing. You don't really know where to prove it. What's good faith.
I can definitely follow up with the sign company to see, you know, whichever info you guys need, I'll get from them.
I mean, I would like to know, you know, what are the real edges, what are the edges that Travis was asking. You know, the drawing doesn't show anything, is it finished, is it, you know, are you gonna see two pieces of metal butting against each other with an open edge, or is it welded together, is it taped around? And what does that corner look like?
Okay,
And what are the letters made of, how are they applied?
sure, I'll write it down now.
And what's a faux marble background? What
Oh,
is-
that's just so instead of being plain white, that's just the look of it.
Is it
It's not,
Is it painted, is it
okay,
color of the metal, what is it, how do you get that? And
Alright,
what
so-
creates that look? And is that on the side, is the side gonna be black?
yeah, the size of it is black. Here, I can look up some pictures. Can I use my phone?
Sure, of course.
Okay.
It's not attached, yeah.
There's just a few that I walked through in town where you see that thick, you know, inch sign, but that's just kind of an unfinished edge
Probably.
versus,
Or if the corners of metal was against each other, it's gonna be laminate. These, I feel like, I don't know what we say, but, you know, we don't want neon, it's really, not because it's neon, like it's environmental
These
gas,
are-
it's because it's a look, and this is a new
Neon
look.
like, yeah, I think.
So look, we're trying to not have.
I think the barber. What did I just do? The barber shop sign would be you guys can take it if you want. The barber shop sign is what I was shown as far as like what the finish would look like, for an exterior sign. Again, I don't understand how the letter's printed on it per se, as far as the technique, but you know, the letter's not 3D, it's.
yeah, it looks,
Yeah, this looks, I mean, you know, it looks, it doesn't look, it's fine, it's not criticism, but it looks like the frame overlaps and there's some depth and texture where this is set back inside the frame.
I think, okay, yeah, I can follow up with the sign company as far as, so what are the specifics, so how,
So some details, some, you know, he can give us, you know, like a shop drawing with some details or some better imagery of the construction, how is it constructed, what are you made of? You know, what do the details look like, what are the materials used? What creates this marbleized look, what creates the lettering?
yeah, I guess the question would be, is it like an aluminum frame with another piece of aluminum, when I say pan sign, I mean, it's almost like, just like you
Can be
said,
depending.
yeah, so. I don't know what's that frame.
And I don't know what Ann would
Yeah,
say,
it's
we have a
just
graphic designer
one
expert
material
on our board.
That's printed on there, or is it an actual like frame on the metal?
Yeah, you're probably right. That could be actually printed.
Is the cat silhouette your logo, is that part of your company logo?
the cat, yes, that is.
Yeah, it looks very light to me, I don't know what Ann would say, I get it, but from a distance, is it gonna look like a cat from far away, I just want it to be darker light.
guys can kind of stylize, but yeah.
You really probably wouldn't recognize it, would you?
No.
This is what you. So those are my comments, and guys, you know, it's open for discussion with the two of you, but I feel that this is a way of getting around the rules of trying to put a sign in the window that, you know, it's not something that we approve, you know, on look, not because it's a different gas, it's a LED versus neon gas, but, you know, it's a tube neon type, neon quotation glass light.
And here's another picture of the aluminum. I'll follow up with the details, but just to give you guys a visual as far as like what does the marble look like, I think it's some sort of background they printed on. It's the belief.
A frame, it's not flat, which I think helps.
Yeah.
And then it's probably just printed faux marble with printed text.
That's the exact
and no
attachment they
laminate.
sent me when they said, hey, this is our aluminum sign, are you okay with that? So that's the exact
Those
material.
photographs?
Yeah. That's what they sent me before I signed.
That's if they can just document that better on the drawing.
Okay, yeah, I wrote down like how are the letters printed on, shop drawing with details, what are the materials made of, are the edges finished, is it flat, is it, you know, like, does it have more, and then what creates the marble and lettering. Any other specific questions that I should
Well,
like make
for
sure?
me, what do you guys think about the location? Because I almost think this should be raised a little bit.
Yeah,
So
maybe like
that-
6 inches from the bottom
Should be
of that
centered.
bay window, centered, yes, I guess
Center,
equally on all sides, just equal on all sides.
Okay,
the other sign sitting down at the bottom, it's against the ground instead of sitting in the symmetrically in the field of light tan.
Mhm.
Might look pretty if it was centered and had some.
right. And the size is 2x4 and that's okay, right?
I think it's okay.
Yeah, I think that works well there.
It was considered her storefront and the nail salon storefront.
I'm saying, you know, this, you know,
Yeah, that was the tricky part because the,
Uh,
are you
Like
allowed
where
to
this-
put it up there? Is the landlord letting you put it up there?
no, I think it was just, it looks like it would be theirs if I put it higher, but that's actually a separate unit. The stair on the left, so it's kind of like a weird slant that it sits on. I'm the basement unit and they're also like quote unquote ground level, but it's, you know, above me. So, and my unit has, you know, like a lower ceiling height and whatnot, so that was the tricky part, but we can censor the sign when it's made.
Yeah, maybe don't completely center, it, maybe keep it lower, but have a little bit of a fan.
Okay, no
I
problem.
guess that makes sense.
Yep.
So what do you guys think about this? I mean, I still frown on it for those reasons.
I don't particularly like it at all, but it's deep, so it's.
Well, you're allowed
That's
that.
not me.
Oh, are you,
It's,
He's going by the law, where they
it's
should
the,
be.
with the code you said, I didn't write it.
Yeah,
Are
that's,
you-
that's
are
what
you
the code says.
Yeah.
Right,
Oh,
but you
I'm
don't have
Cindy.
to
Nice to
accept
meet you in
any
person.
code every year. The last house we saw before we made comments fit the code, but it didn't fit the aesthetics that we thought were appropriate, so I think we have some discretion.
and also,
Have we-
if you
have we
guys
even
don't,
seen any of these before though?
if you guys have another
Probably have people
suggestion
pay
that's
for the word.
approved by code and, you know, your taste too, that allows me to have a lit up sign. Really my point of having that is just so people can actually see my store, otherwise it's completely in the dark. And, you know, I had consulted the
I'm
sign guys and they said this was the only option.
Can you get
I'm
some good neck lights to light this up?
No, it would require exterior outlet and from the landlord, and there's only one and it's the one. Punchline is no. To over,
It'd be nice if you could shine lights at that.
right, exactly, and again, I consulted with the landlord and the electrician and the final answer was pretty much no. And so I was kind of, you know,
Is there a way to have a sign, I'm just throwing ideas out, is there a way to have a sign, look like there's a soffit, right, where this light bulb is, there's one light fixture underneath there, is that a little soffit? Is there a way to get a sign that hung from that down a little bit, that tied into electric and somehow,
so that would be on the outside of the store and that would block the window, it wouldn't be a window sign. So I don't know if that's allowed, I guess, if you guys allow that, I can definitely look into it.
does it make any sense to do that, or is it gonna be intended lit? I understand the need to have something lit, you know, it gets dark at 4 o'clock in the winter.
yeah,
Is there some way to
I
get
don't
some
particularly
sort
like
of?
the, I don't particularly like the faux neon, but I understand, I can't, I don't,
Is there a way to create some sort of a sign in faux neon, let's call it, in this LED that isn't script? Maybe the script is what I'm reacting to because it looks like a stereotypical bodega neon sign you might see in the city.
well, it's kind of, she's copying her logo, I think, is, or, no, oh, no, I guess you're not really copying her
No,
logo.
G looks different, no,
Yeah,
the font's
they're
different.
not, yeah.
So is there a way you could,
Can they make it out of your logo?
No, they said my logo's exact font would not allow, because I guess the way the wiring is, my logo, like leather thickness had variations and they're not able to copy that. Yeah, like I said, this was the best option by the sign companies, multiple that I called to. This was not only Sign Extreme. When I explained the situation, they said, oh, okay, well, we can do a, lit up sign on the window that's hung from the ceiling in this style. That's kind of what everyone came back to me with. Again, if you guys have any other suggestions, I'm definitely open to that. But
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I'm not opposed to the script. I appreciate that it's just one color and it's white. I would maybe say let's just simplify it and go to one of the window panes instead of spanning across both and just make it a little smaller. Just put
yeah,
grooming one on top of each other instead of going directly across the whole thing.
right. But I think there was a size limitation of 15% of each window, and so if I only utilize one window, it would be like half the size where it's hard to read. That was the only reason for the 2 window part as well. But if you guys can count it as the total square footage, I'm happy to move one of the signs over so that it's. So I think it was Tom that I sent the email that said the sizing is per window and it's 15% and I have 2 windows. So I was like, well, I have to use both then.
That's the 12 by 23, that's the entire sign, even though it's a script or whatever.
What's that?
how is the math for computation of the area of the sign, is it like a square box?
Yeah.
That's what Tom was talking about, that's what he was talking about, at the order of 15%.
Both doors go into your store?
Yes.
Well, maybe if the font was something a little more artistic and not just script, it's not that cheap logo, but not to look like a traditional sign that has some style. Maybe different font, printed, it can still be connected, give it the same effect.
Yeah, I can definitely have them make it in different fonts. If do you want more of kind of like a printed look per se?
I want
'Cause these are just
something that
basic
doesn't look like a neon script or something. If you can use different font letters, I realize you have to be, maybe they don't be connected. Something that just looks a little bit more, stylized and upscale, less like a script neon sign.
Yeah, that's the, looks like the neon sign essentially.
Yeah, can I maybe run some font, I guess, looks with you guys while you guys are here, just so I make sure it's the aesthetics.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't want to design it for you, I'm giving you the reason for the negative reaction. I don't think I have a problem to the sign in the window, I understand the need for it. I agree with you, but it's just, I don't want something that looks like old fashioned script.
I think you're probably right.
more of a printed look be, I guess, better where, you know, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't look cursive, so it just looks more of a printed look, I think.
Or black
Yeah, maybe
letter.
a nice font, attractive font.
Okay.
You probably run, you might have to talk to the sign company to
Yeah.
run through what they can do.
You know, an interesting upscale font is,
They might not be able to do anything other than this. But it'd be nice to try to go through some of the options that they have. There's some different options that they have.
yeah, they give you a few different options, you can bring a few of them, it's time when you talk about.
Yeah, I know when I was running through the options with them, they all looked similar and I just said.
Truthfully, I mean, it almost seems like something that they're not actually taking an LED tube and like bending it. It's just something that you just order. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, I think
you know what I don't think they're actually, maybe they are, I don't know.
I don't know how they do this. I think this is edge lit. It's just acrylic and this is etched and then you shine the light on the edge of it and then whatever's etched is cast on there.
Cause I'm thinking this looks like, I'm thinking more of neon, just like you said, neon, it looks, it's
Yeah,
a little,
you
it's
need
a
Yeah, I think if you
little piece of
explain
tube
to
and
them,
script.
if you explain to them what we're saying, I think they'll understand it and hopefully get to suggest something that gives you the function you want, but looks a little bit more
A little
stylized.
something
And just worst case, if this is the only style they are able to, you know, provide, what are my options?
I don't know, let's see what they say.
They've gotta be able to do something other than us,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, so we want her to come back with different font letters, upscale font, center and equal on all sides. Shop drawing with detail,
Let's say instead of upscale, let's say more sophisticated
More
and less like a
sophisticated.
neon, less like the look of an old fashioned.
Okay. What are the materials, what creates the marble lettering, the edges, how is it finished, and what do the corners look like, what are the letters made of?
Yeah.
Okay. So the next meeting is June 7th, so I will need everything by the 30th.
Okay. Write that down.
You open yet for business?
What's that?
Is your store open yet?
No, it's not, in the process. I offer a house call service for cat grooming right now, so this is just expansion, so yeah. Something nice for people to bring the cats to as well.
Excellent.
Right?
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you. Have a good night.
You too, thanks. Do I get an email or anything from you or?
No,
Okay, so I'll just come back
yeah,
by
just,
May
you can
30th.
email me and you can come in.
Okay,
All right?
thank you. Sorry, do I need to reapply for the sign? first?
No, you're just gonna give me the revised plans.
Thank you. Sure.
This application is 10 Leonard, 10 Kathleen Lane. Is he there? Oh, you know what? He's actually bringing me revised plans, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Minor revision, but yeah.
okay, so
You're in
enough for me
person.
to give him these plans or you wanna give yours?
I'll give him these.
Okay. I'll
I
take
was
that
in
back.
person last time, actually for the first time in
I
3
don't
years.
think it was.
This one that's under construction by the pond right now.
Yeah, I remember seeing it on.
So this first one is over in Rolling Fields, about 3 houses in from 117 over here. So the plan here is there's an existing garage we're gonna convert into some living space, add onto the back of that garage for a kitchen and move the garage and put a single car garage over here.
but there's also a lot of stuff going on inside this house. You know, quick, just to look at the floor plan, you come right in the center of a living room that's barely 10 feet wide. This is barely 10 feet wide. So we're wiping all this out and giving them a proper entrance over here. Give them a little kitchen, the backyard's really nice, everything's like dead flat over there. And, so you can hear, see what we did is the entry is now over here, we're giving them a real hallway entry, coat closet that they don't have now. And this is a grand, big, we're gonna cathedral the ceiling, we're gonna put a skylight in the back to bring light into the center part of the house. Cause they just get like western afternoon sun in here now, maybe a little morning sun this way. But this should be a really pleasant space to be in now, a very wide open living. They're gonna actually have a way to get into the house from the garage, cause now there is none. So everybody wants a nice mudroom, kitchen, pantry and all that. But the house is getting a nice facelift from its 1950s or 60s, early 60s origins. All those houses in there, most of them are like these really low-lying ranches, there's some caves and stuff. So we're gonna, yeah, so. So. We'll go to the front. Photos in the print, shoot, they're on that one.
Yeah, they're on the both.
When I reprinted this last night, they got cut off from.
Oh, here, you got them there, you want the larger ones?
So we're gonna remove all the siding. There you go. And we're going to do a combination, and also the windows are gonna change, it's gonna get a real fresh, more modern facelift. We're gonna go to casement windows everywhere, a mix of the board and battens along the body of the house that has a lot of the gables in it. And up in the gables, we're gonna go to like a 1x6 board, all painted white, with black windows. And then we're gonna go to hardy board around this side and around the whole back of the house where it's really horizontal, so. You can see, we're carrying that board and batten around the north side of the house to the west side of the house. We're gonna end it here, so the clapboard will just be from this part of the house wrapping around to that other corner. And Stanley's not here again, did my beautiful roof plan for him, and I can't even show it to him. This is a good one.
I'll take a photo.
I'll email it to him. Yeah, so, it all works. Give him a nice little clean metal roof over the front door, because right now, obviously, there's no overhang whatsoever. You stand on this horrible wooden slippery platform to get in this house. So we'll put them under cover here, do a little stone scoop here, a secondary entrance, the mudroom. Oh yeah, we had to go to ERB for this, and they were pretty appreciative of all the, the stuff we did to mitigate, because it's a huge improvement over what's there now. We're taking away a lot of, I think we're going just maybe 50 square feet over on impervious. We're taking so much out of here where it doesn't belong and putting it over, to fit the new addition, softening up the front a bit.
Nice.
I think scale wise, you've done a really nice job, it still seems.
It's balanced,
Original and, yeah,
that's what I want.
like it,
I don't want it to be
together.
completely out of character in there, We did another one over there, it didn't get built, but it's similar to that.
it's not a ton of square footage, but
No,
it the function of the place.
the function is night and day. This whole part of the house for living, it's really pretty horrendous when you walk in that front door right now.
Today's lifestyle.
Yeah, this is what people want now.
Great,
That'll-
great.
It's good.
Thank
Can you email me the 11x17? I'm gonna print it, can you email me on 11x17?
you. I'll drop it off to you if you
I'll
want.
take that. No need to roll it, that's a folder.
Oh, okay, sorry. Next one was over in the neighborhood behind Greenlands. Ridgewood. This is the corner of Ridgewood and Elm, so this Ridgewood comes up to 117 Julio's is up there. Corner lot, and this is what's existing. There's so much going on. I want to do a before and after map, because I gotta go to zoning after this. But this is a dilapidated garage is literally falling down, separated from the house. Eats up a bunch of impervious areas and all these walkways. There's a pretty crummy deck here and a stair to the basement. So they asked us for a good amount of new living space. So the idea was to get rid of the garage over here, bring it and attach it to the house. And this function will be mudroom, new stairway. The rooms in this house again are so small and it's tight everywhere with the existing front hall stairway here. So we're actually gonna get rid of that.
Do you have any photos?
Yep. Yeah, they're actually on my elevation. So these are the neighborhood photos. This is actually a picture of the corner of the house. This is one.
That's that old garage.
Yeah, that's the little garage. It's gonna go away. This shot here, the neighbor who lives here is pretty far away and there's a lot of tall houses in this neighborhood. So they got like attics up here. Everybody has a tall kind of looking like a third-story attic. Except across the street. That's a really quirky layout of a kind of a strange corner house that's very low. But this is a decent amount of open property here and between this neighbor. So I gotta go for a ton of variances because there's literally no building envelope on this property. That's it, right
Yeah.
there. So we're not really touching the front of the house at all, except we do wanna add a space above the 1 story. I'll show you pictures of the existing. So this is the front of the house. It's got cedar shingles on it, which we want to keep and add to. This is the back of the house. This is the pretty bad deck, falling apart lattice. So I'm showing you the existing and then what we're doing to it. So from the front, all that's really happening is this is raising up because they desperately need another bathroom and some closet space. Windows are all staying, siding's gonna hopefully stay. It's in pretty bad shape, so it'll either be scraped and painted or just replaced. This is kind of deceiving, so I did two views from the north because this is what you see here, but because we're adding so much there, you're actually seeing the side of the garage, a couple of little windows there. This is a new family room above the garage. This is a canopy above the garage doors, but then to show you how the house connects to the existing, I cut a section through here. So you're seeing like existing kitchen windows here, we're relocating some windows here. So, yeah, exactly, I cut it right through. So from this view, which is really the way they're gonna be using, they use that as the front of the house now, they park over there, kids play over there. So this will have a nice kind of aesthetic to it, covered side porch into a generous mud room and multi-level steps going up and down. And this again, just, the kitchen's already pretty wide open, but by getting rid of the stairway over here, I can get the laundry out of the basement, give them a walk-in pantry, and get them a real nice functional kitchen and make it a little more open there. But the key thing here is they got 4 kids in this tiny little house. And so what we want to also do is from this level here, we're gonna go up a half a flight to this landing, which is, gonna connect you into the family room above the garage. So technically, you could be standing at the bottom here, the kitchen, and yelling at the kids up in the family room. You can kind of, they're far enough away, but close still. Extra bathroom in case, people are needed at that level. And then this is the area on the second floor with the new closet and bathroom. So I tried to keep the windows in the same arrangement as what they are now in the front of the house, on the side of the house. Exact. Yep. That's this window here, so I got one in the front and back, but this is the window here. When you go to this side, this is the really nice side over here. So, double windows, they're all existing. They actually have a lattice panel that they really like, but it's not in great condition. So we're mimicking or putting a better lattice panel here. Those are those windows that kind of match the others. And this is an existing attic window I want to keep. So I purposely kept this exact hip, raised it up, and it fit nice and snug underneath that sill. Sometimes it's luck and sometimes you plan it out. But then the whole transitional piece and how the main house is now making its way to the garage, I try to be very careful of the scale by bringing over the roof line I needed at the top of the stairway. But as we go down the stairs, now I have an intermediate level here which is still a little bit lower than this one I raised back up over here, but this one's still not nearly as tall as this one. It's narrower, slender, it's broken up by the roof canopy here. It's got a lot of windows on every side, so it'll be like a fun room to be in. And then this gives him the covered entryway over here. And he actually asked for something a little bit different. They wanted a place to store logs outside. So it has this really nice fieldstone foundation. What I want to do is carry it across here, carry it over into this entryway. So over on this side, they'll have a place to kind of hide their logs and still have all be tied together with the stone. So the logs aren't up against wood or anything like that. And then again, this lattice panel over here is going to shield the trash cans, and there's a generator, probably an air conditioning unit is going to be over there. So it'll all be screened from the road. And this is the back side of the whole thing that other neighbor would be seeing. Generous amount of windows at the appropriate levels where they belong, and a little cupola to top it all off.
Yeah, like it's the kind of the little farmhouse.
So they're from Kentucky.
It's a little farmhouse where you got all these little,
Yeah, I thought,
these pieces have been added on.
I'm surprised they didn't bring a horse with them.
The windows on this side, they're shifted, that's because of the.
Stairs, yes,
Floor
there's an intermediate level there, exactly. It looks like there's a stair there, yeah. You see it in a lot of old houses that way.
Yeah, windows everywhere,
Farmhouse.
closets, everything.
We're also doing, we're gonna add crown moldings to all the windows, and I'm actually adding this frieze board that's not there now. I want it all throughout the front, sides, everywhere. So I think it just caps off all the shingles very nicely. So right now, there's nothing, and here I'm gonna integrate it to the top of the window heads.
Easier transition.
Great.
Yeah, I like it. It's good. It's good.
Alright.
Approved.
I'll leave this one within 2 days, because
Yeah.
the only thing I did on this one is I did Stanley's roof plan. I forgot that.
It seems less complicated than that.
Listen, I go to a lot of ARBs. Those signs. I wish I was before all the signs.
Signs take the longest.
They do. I always thought they should have a separate sign review board instead of, architecture. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Thanks, see you, Dave. See you,
Bye.
Steve.
Next one is 297 King. I believe he's on virtual.
Hi, I was gonna say good afternoon, but good evening, everyone. I'm Andrew Samelin.
Good evening.
This is an existing sign. They're changing it. Or I should say an existing business. They're changing the sign.
This is up on one.
On King Street.
Yeah.
These are the existing or signs
Oh,
around
these
the
are
property,
just-
around the property.
And who is on?
Andrew Samelin.
And what sign is there now? Is there a sign in the same location now?
There is, we just had a name change of the company, so we're updating the sign. It's gonna be in the same location, roughly within 6 inches of the existing size. It'll be in the identical location.
So is this part of it? This is canvas? Is this part of it?
No, I
it's
Yeah,
think he was just showing an example of, you gave us something with a dentist?
Oh, it's the.
Yeah, so that
Sandblast detail.
Yeah, that just shows a detail of the sandblasting.
And where is that? On the perimeter of the logo? On the perimeter of your
Yes.
sign? What's the sign made of? Metal sign, wood frame? Yeah, same thing, again, from a section standpoint, what does it look like? How thick is it? What do the edges look like? You know, this is like optically, this tells us what it looks like, but we can't tell how it's constructed and what the details are gonna look like.
I think there's a number of files there that describe it, but perhaps not. Perhaps not.
Yeah, no, there's nothing, there's just a flat two-dimensional dimensions, and there's a, photograph dropping it into the house, but there's nothing that shows, how thick is it, what are the materials, what are the details, what is the lettering made of, looks almost like a bridge or something, what is that made of, how is it constructed?
The sign is existing, right? You're just changing the name,
Yes,
and the name's going from what?
it's going from Samelin Investment Council to Samelin Wealth to reflect, changes in the company itself. So,
I don't see anything that says wealth on it.
Yeah, we
I
don't
think
know.
there's a file there that shows Samelin Wealth.
Is this it's a black, we just have a black rectangle on our sheet?
Can you share your screen, do you have it?
Let me see if I could do that. Hold on, let me pull up the files. I'm on my phone.
Maybe this didn't print.
Yeah, because it's the exact
This
same
has
sign,
gotta,
it's
this has
just
gotta be,
changing the text.
No, again, you're inferring, you're trying to deduce,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you don't
I just don't
know
think it's
that.
printed.
We don't even know that the wealth, there's no words that say wealth. My friend Terry used to say, it's like a contract with the community, and, you get torn apart if this, you said yes to this contract, there's nothing here.
Well, you'd have to approve it.
I think that there's if I recall correctly, that there is a picture of Samelin Wealth.
No,
in your
there
file?
isn't. We don't have anything that says that.
You don't have anything that says
No,
that.
I just think that there must be something that's printed incorrectly here, because it does show the existing metal sign and the existing wood frame, but then there's just a black rectangle that I bet is where the Samelin Wealth should be probably
Are you,
shown.
are you removing letters and just putting in new letters to spell wealth? Are you putting a brand new sign up? What do you, we don't know what to.
Sure, we're putting in a new sign that is roughly the same size. I think it's within 6 inches of the existing sign. The lettering itself is raised. Let me
Yeah,
just see.
How thick is it? Does it stick off the wall? Does it? What
It's
are the
about,
dimensions?
I think it's about 1 inch off the wall.
So these are all the things that we need shown to us in the drawing by somebody.
Yeah, you'll forgive me. I thought I thought my team had provided that to you.
What are the corners? Is there a metal trim around the outside? It's hard to tell almost anything, it's just.
Yeah, there's a photo of the existing sign. There's just the new sign's not showing up anywhere.
Okay. You'll forgive me. I was looking at it before and I saw a file that said Samelin Wealth on it. Do you not have that? Perhaps
I think
not.
I just don't think it printed correctly or something got messed up.
But even if you find something that says wealth on it, we require more than that. We need something from, I guess, the sign company showing the construction details of what we're getting. Because, this is what we're approving on behalf of the community. We just need to know what we're approving.
Because it looks like it's.
Okay. Hold on. Actually, I was able to pull it up on my phone. Let me just see the sketch of sign. Okay. Let me share the screen.
You do that on the phone? I've never tried that.
I'm sorry?
I've never tried to share my screen with a phone.
Neither have I.
Look at this.
So,
Is that us? Are you? Is that us?
screen broadcast.
That's us.
Did you, were you able to see that?
No, nothing came up.
Try it again.
Yeah, no, we didn't see anything.
Okay, no problem. Hold on one second. Oh, this is fun. And okay. Well, in light of that, wait, here it is. Let's see if I can share this. I'm looking at this. It's called Sketch of Sign. Do you not have that file? And it includes the color scheme and the layout of it. Do you not have that?
No, I don't think we do.
You don't have that.
There's, we just, I mean, the only thing we have is just a picture of your existing sign, but
Okay.
the Sandalwood Investment Council and kind of the letters and the kind of the design underneath that.
Okay.
So our next meeting is June 7th. So if you can get the additional information that the board is requesting, the details,
Okay.
the materials, what the sign is made of, how it's constructed, the edges, the trim. And you can
Okay.
get that to me by the 31st. By the 30th, I can get you on the June 7th. The June 7th agenda.
Okay. All right, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you have the materials by the 30th and see you on the 7th.
Okay. Have a
Thank
good night.
you. Thank you very much.
Next one is 10 Hayrake. Hi,
This
10
will take
Hayrake.
longer. Hello.
You wanna just go over this? Can I have your name?
I'm Bill Matchak, I'm the owner.
Can you send me photos of the house?
Yes, absolutely. So, let me,
Oh, yeah.
so, our project is primarily a kitchen remodel, but it does, it is gonna impact some exterior stuff on the screen porch. So, these are pictures of our house as it exists now. The bottom here is the front and the side, everything on the bottom here, nothing there is being modified. Let me come around, so read this upside down. Okay, so all of the action, at least with respect to the exterior, relates to the screen porch here. Behind the screen porch is the kitchen. What we're after to do here is take the existing screen porch, which is kind of more of a 3-season thing, permanently enclose it and connect it into the kitchen. The screen porch and the existing kitchen are pretty dark right now, so what we're aiming to do is try to bring some more light into what will be the median sunroom in the kitchen. So to that end, we're going to raise the roof here, create a gable roof off of this that'll connect into the existing roof line here. And then the rest of it is effectively just replacing windows around the screen porch. So all of the existing kind of what you would call that windows there are going to be replaced with simulated divided lights that'll wrap around the screen porch. We're going to replace these windows that are in the corner of the kitchen right now and add one additional window there. So let me go to the next page, which shows the elevations. So this is existing, and down here is the new. So as you can see, it's the roof here is coming up into that gable. We're adding some windows there. These are going to be casements that'll, continue. There's a door on the other side that will continue around there. And where there's just one window now, it's going to be replaced by two. As I said before, the style of these windows are all going to tie into the style of the existing. Because that existing window here sits right above the point of the gable is going to be, we're going to replace that window with two windows to kind of space them out there. And those are the main things. kind of a minor detail here, this existing step is, as we understand it, not compliant with the current code, so that landing is gonna be extended and there'll be a railing placed there to be compliant with the current code. And then this is all kind of blue stone pavers over here, but just a raw concrete landing right there, so these are all, both sides of this are gonna be updated to blue stone to match. There's no side elevation in our drawing set here, but if you look at the current thing, so where there's 2 windows here now, they're gonna be replaced with 2 windows on each side of the door now are gonna be replaced with 2 casements, slightly larger than these. Okay, we have to submit an additional elevation in addition to what's shown here.
Yeah.
Can we show you the floor plan that has?
Yeah, we can talk about it, we're gonna do it, right? Otherwise, we don't have an elevation.
Okay, I mean, our architect didn't include that, we're gonna have to go back to him and request that before we can get approval.
Yeah, you're gonna want that for yourself, you're the homeowner, you wanna know what those 2 sides look like before you build them.
That's structural, like that as well.
Okay, we can certainly follow up with our architect on that. Is there other things that you guys would like to go through here?
Well, let's look at the plan. Which we'll understand what you're saying, but when you get back to the issues, we
So this.
we need an elevation, so tell your architect, I want an elevation looking down this way, showing this and this, not just, looking here. So a person standing here, looking at the whole,
Sure.
and the same thing here, looking at this, whole cascade.
Okay,
the whole
I mean,
elevation.
from this side as well, because I mean, there's, from this angle,
Yeah, we
there's
want-
hardly anything changing.
Partly, but you're putting in a new door and cleaned up all the elements.
Okay, understood. Anything else we should review? So this is the new, as I was saying before, so that's where the 2 casements are shown. The door, from that angle beyond the change of the windows. That there's not really
And
significant.
those are the 2 new windows.
Yes, where these are 2 sliders now, are gonna be replaced.
Yeah, the project looks nice.
Okay, understood.
Yeah, I think it looks good.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you can submit those, and then you can-
So the only comment is the elevation?
we're missing, there's 2 missing elevations.
I assume we'll have to come back to the.
Yeah, so our next meeting is June 7th. If you can give me what you are going to return with by the 30th.
Okay, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
The last application is via Zoom. It's 76 King Street. It's Ibiza, the restaurant on the corner by the community center. We're adding an awning.
Outdoor dining or
I
just
thought
put it
it's-
in?
I thought they'd submitted before.
So they were supposed to come back in 21, 22, but they never showed up. So this is them returning. They came to us when they did their storefront. When they
Yeah.
first opened up, but this is an awning.
I swear I thought I saw something with an awning. Like a
Well, they were
submission with
supposed
an
to come, they had submitted to come, but they never showed up.
Oh,
So
okay.
they're here now.
So I
David?
might have looked at the
Yes.
You may
drawing.
have, yeah.
Can you hear me?
That's what I'm remembering.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good evening. My name is David Arango. I am representing Mr. San Ignacio Blanco.
Okay. Do you have where you can share your screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it is, I think it's great. Before we did the street sweeping.
So
No.
I was a big proponent, we did this big deal. Let's give veterans, let them all take it.
You see my screen?
Yep.
Okay.
Unless it retracts back, it looks exactly like.
I guess that's.
Yeah, it does it, it's a fancy metal system. Yeah, it must be like a recording.
Okay, you can begin.
Okay.
Up and down, it's gotta be pretty strong steel, it's not 16 feet, you know?
The idea for, Mr. Blanco is he tried to put in like a retractile awning in front of the building. If you know the space, they have like a little, we can say patio or terrace in front of the space. And he wanna try to cover it up, when it's very sunny, it's very hot, and they have some tables they can put in over there. If you see in the, let me see, okay, let me move for the slides we have in the A110. They have like a little table sitting in that area. And the idea is to have this retractile awning, they can pull it up when it's hot in the summer. And when it's raining, he can use that stuff also for that area. If you see, we have some detailing for the attachment to the wall. It's supposed to is provided from the contractor. He has the information for the installation on the material. It's like a black color coming with the sign. If you see in the first slide and the photos we have in the PH100, we have the photos from how it looks like now. We have the black sign with the red letters for the signature of the building. And we have some photos around, the neighborhood. What is the buildings? They have some awnings, not that big than this one, but this one is only retractile, it's only to come out for the patio and go back in the same location. And to cover it up, only the area is sitting in the exterior patio.
Gives nice feel of this time.
Who's making this awning for you? It's gotta be big, strong.
The name is the contractor is in the application. For some reason, and I apologize to that one, they call the owner, but never the owner of the restaurant we can have the meeting. And I try to help him, that's the reason we are a little bit late, we can say. The name of the contractor, I think, is GH Awnings, I think. I'm not sure, I don't remember the name, to be honest, to be clear, but it's in the application of for the building permit.
What do you guys do for the structure? I think it's great, but this thing needs to be tied in 16 feet, it's got to be really strong. Who's going to decide if the structural engineer and sign seal plans for structural engineer?
I mean, they're supposed to provide that.
Because it's just getting anchored into the wall somehow. I mean, it's a serious anchor.
The idea for him is create like an atmosphere. I don't know if you're familiar with in Spain, they have this, for summertime, they have this upsize place, to sitting down and, you can because the climate over there is a little bit more complex than here. And the summer is very hot. They try to get in, the most comfortable space outside the space, inside, outside of the restaurant, because they have a lot of, we can say, clientele, they like to be outside.
Yeah, al fresco dining is great. I'd love to see more of it.
Okay.
So, I mean, other than, structural and all that stuff, it's adequate. I mean, I think Looks terrific as long as it's strong and it works. Are you gonna do anything with those, dividers on the sidewalk, those planter boxes that look like everything's kind of dead?
Oh, the planting you have, you're talking about the planting we have there?
The planter boxes on the sidewalk between the chairs and the outside sidewalk.
Oh.
It's, the picture's taken in the winter, I mean,
No. That's,
maybe only planted in the plant.
yeah, all right, maybe, the photos are.
It's winter.
I like it.
Are there lights underneath there?
Excuse me? Yes, it's a light. If you see in the photo in the PH100, let me see if I can make a little blow up. In the photo, they have some lights. You see here in the photo, I have it here, is 2 lights in both sides of the entry door.
Right, but like at nighttime when that is.
Yes, that one
set.
stay there. Yes, but they usually put in some there's electrical candles in the table
Oh, yeah.
because they don't want to using like a more exterior things. But they have some like a goose lights on the over the you see in the cornice in the top.
Mm-hmm.
Because that one stay there because the awning, is retractable, is going up in this, when it's sun, but it's go back when it's night because, they need to have the lights. The lights stay there.
Right, so are those gooseneck lights going to go past the canopy when it's retracted? When it's not open, when it's closed? Like, are those going to just shine right on top of the?
No, that one stay there, and they want to keep it like that because they was approved from the beginning, but they don't want to move it. I presume, Mr. Blanco want to keep it those and provide some exterior lights on the tables, like I mentioned to you before, like a little candles, but that one is not like major things. They don't want to make like anything else, according with the light things, no. But I can ask him if he want to have some ideas to make something different. But so far, I understand is only those 2 lights and the goosenecks.
Okay, but you see the concern though, right? That those are just going to shine directly on the top of.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. But in the evening, the awning go back to the wall and you have all the things open, It's only to using when it's very, sunny and when it's rainy, that's it. But when it's, when it's evening, they go back to the wall.
Mm-hmm. Canopy. I think it's done well. I mean, I have no issues with it.
Yeah, houses look very nice if there was lights under this gigantic thing, but how do you do that? Okay, I just think it looks very nice.
Thank you very much. We try to do the best.
Okay, good luck.
Okay, thank you. Have a good night.